Hey, yeah, so it's going up. These are the shelves. We just sanded them down, and we're just attaching them with basic brackets. My desk is in, the room is mostly done and mostly decorated, but this is the big deal because this little unit right here, which is not done here, you can see that it's still pretty raw, very raw on this side, but, and also on the top, which I won't show you, it looks terrible. So the space between the cottage and the new studio. And so they actually are two separate rooms or two separate buildings. So this one goes to about here and this one goes to about here, and there's an air gap between them, and the siding for this building is still on here, and we just built that room as a completely new room, but then this little piece in here, this little drywall, seals it in and keeps all the air out, etc., etc. So this space between the two spaces I wanted to use as my desk unit. So that's what we're doing. We've got this one in here, the floor isn't done, and this floor still isn't done too. There's going to be another shelf down there, and then when this is all done, it's all going to be boarded up on the back, and there'll be a little space right here so that when I'm in this room, I'm able to look through this little space and see the big windows in the back. So can you see how pretty that is with the big windows in the back? So when I'm over here, I'll be able to see through, but otherwise there's a curtain that's going to come across. So when I'm filming, you guys will probably never see this again, but when I'm filming, I'll be sitting there, you'll be way over there, and of course the computer and stuff, and then the other computer, I need to upgrade this computer to a Mac. It's coming, hopefully soon. It's on my list, on my list of things to get. But when I'm filming, you'll be sitting over there, and so you'll just see the curtain back here. It's very unlikely that I'd have it open. But everything is exactly the way I want, and all the details is the stuff that really makes it wonderful. Like the fact that there's a plug just off the main desk, and there are plugs all throughout the room so that I have access to whatever I need without having cables on the floor. This little shelf is actually set back. It's way shorter. It's not as deep as the one down here. That's on purpose, so this feels more like a desk space. And then the next shelf, I have a little tick here. The next shelf is going to go there, and then this. Well, these are my pigments for making paint, and they're going to have their own shelf. I have lots and lots. I've been collecting them for a long, long time. So they're only, what, 3 inches tall or so? So there'll be a shelf here that's just a really short 3-inch shelf, and then there'll be another one above that that goes up, and then another one way down there. There's a lot of light in here. There's the 2 big sliding doors, and then 2 5 by 5 feet windows and 2 smaller 2 by 4 feet windows. So there's a lot of light, which makes it a little difficult, which is why I have sunglasses. These are actually sunglasses my husband got when he got his eyes lasered. They're a very weird plastic, but they wrap around, so I like that. And of course I have my own, but they're in my purse and in the car. But these are cool. So I do put these on a lot, especially when I'm editing, because it's just too bright in this room for maybe 3 or 4 hours. So from about 10 until noon or something, when the sun is really coming in this window, then it's really hard to sit here. But that's a good time to go outside and do chores and other such things. I have the coffee area over here, which is where I have my morning coffee and think about things and come up with ideas. I think being an artist, a lot of the time is spent thinking about how I'm going to do something, or thinking about what I'm going to do, or trying to, not really trying, but like going through my creative process. There's a little wood stove in here, which is just adorable when it's on. It was just way too hot to turn on today. And I have my camera and an aloe vera and some plants hanging around there. Then on the left side, there's the plant section. There are 11 fig trees in here. They're all pretty small right now. They're, what are they, six months old or so, so they're pretty new, but give them a few years and they're going to be huge, and I'm really excited about eating figs. Figs are my favorite fruit. So when I lived in Germany, I actually had a fig tree, and I would harvest figs from that tree all the time. It was 7 feet tall or so, so having my own figs again here in Canada is really nice. Yeah, so this is the view directly outside of my window. To the left, the chickens are out today. They're wandering around. This is Lion. He has a beautiful brown and red mane, which is kind of hard to see because the light's in the wrong direction, but he's just gorgeous. And he has come to me. He's come to hang out and decided to make some noise. Yes, we're talking about you. Bruno's paddock takes up this entire space. It comes right up to the porch, so he can come right up here, have a drink. He has water, of course, in his house as well, but he can come hang out with me. And all I have to do is come out this door, step down 2-3 steps, and then right across the porch. So he's about less than 8 feet away or so, just off the porch, which is really neat to have my animals so close. I always dreamed that one day I would have a studio which looked out onto the animals, onto the yard. Is there anything else to tell you? The shelves are in. They're not finished, so what's on, I mean, the shelves are in and they're finished, but what's on the shelf is not necessarily what's going to be there forever. I am definitely going to have the pigments up there because that's really something that I find really awkward. Like, what do I do with the pigments? Where do I put them? Do I display them or not? So I wanted to have a space that's just for them, but I might put different books in, change the books. I want to change my brush box, which is this box right here. It's full of brushes, and it doesn't actually close because the Da Vinci brushes I have in there, the Kolinsky brushes I have in there, are actually, the box for them is too big, so the wooden box won't close. So I have a new box that I ordered, and when that gets there, when that arrives, then all my brushes will go in that box, and then it will close, and that means I keep the dust out, which would be really great. Kitty, of course, is in here. She has toys in this room. She has a basket. She has a few well, any basket. If I put a basket on the floor, that cat jumps in the basket. So there's a lot of baskets throughout the house. This is actually my laundry basket, but right now the laundry's all done, so she's in it. There is a sink right here. It's not done. This is really roughly put in. It's got a frame and it's got 4 legs. Not really. They're wiggly and wonky at the moment. Eventually that will be a sink, eventually as in hopefully this weekend, maybe next weekend. This will be where I get water to water the plants, but also where I can get water to do my work. So I won't have to get up and fill my containers in a different room and bring them in here. And then the plan after that, once this is all in, is to also put the coffee station up here. So we have a coffee automat, which you guys will see in a later video when it's in. So it's a really big, complete, you push the button and everything is done for you. And there's no, everything is done for you, and what you're left with is just coffee grains, which you can put into your compost. So there's no plastic or garbage or anything like that. And I have to fill it with water, and then it will do it all. So the water will come from here, coffee there, some a few mugs on the walls and such. So that'll be our little coffee corner, and also watering the plants and getting paint, water for my paint. Obviously, I use my desk for my laptop, for painting, my work surface, etc. And then I'm going to replace this chair with one of the chairs I had in Germany. I have to order it again, but it was a beautiful white swivel chair, which I really liked. And then I can just swivel around, and I'll be able to use this desk as my second space to do work, to do some editing. Now, this is my old computer. I got that 3 years ago. I got it from actually I bought it from my brother back in 2014 when he was still a teenager, and then when he moved to China, I moved back to Canada and didn't bring him on with me, and I asked him if I could have it, and he said, sure, you can have the one you bought for me. So I have it back, which is kind of funny in a roundabout way. So I'm looking to get the new Mac computer, and it's on my list, but honestly I'm not super crazy picky about it, so whenever it happens, it happens. And then underneath we have a plotter and a huge printer. This is the Epson Ultra Chrome Epson Stylus Photo R1900. It's the particular printer I've gotten here. It's a really big one. I actually bought it in Europe and used it over there for a while, and then when I moved here, I looked up how much it would cost to buy it here, see if I wanted to sell it and then buy it again. I said, no way. So I shipped it over, and I shipped it plus all all the parts and all the inks and all that stuff. It's all here. I'll set that up eventually, and then once I eventually get into doing orders on Etsy, like true actual prints and such, because that is on my list of things I want to do, then I will be using this monster printer to print all of those prints for you guys. I need to rebraid my hair. Now in the other room I still have a huge unit full of all my big boxes. I can put a little clip into that and show you what that looks like, because I have actual art supplies absolutely everywhere. 99% of them are in wooden boxes, so I know what the box looks like when I'm looking for something, but they're not labeled, which is kind of nice, but also kind of not nice if you tell someone else to find something. Am I covered in... I just did the fireplace. I think I've got some ash on my face. Sorry about that. Yeah, so I've got stuff everywhere else. And as I use things, they will come and eventually live here on this shelf. But it's not so important right now because I don't want to be bringing things out that I have to dust. I really like keeping things in containers where they're nice and safe. Oh, and then my desk, the setup. So the light above me is a solar light. So I have my solar light solar panel here on the side that runs that. The other lights that run across the actual room are also solar lights, although I think I'm going to take them out and put them into my greenhouse. They're not very pretty, and I'm currently working on insulating and recladding, insulating and cladding the greenhouse. So when I take these lights out, I can do all the wiring behind the cladding, which will be great. My desk has a huge arm, big LED light on top. It has the mic, the holder that you're currently sitting in for the arm for my my screen, my phone. And I actually shoot with 3 iPhones, so I can use it in different places to get different angles. So I set them all up. So I've got all these stations where all my cameras are, so I don't have to move my camera 100 times. We do have the big Nikon cameras that film too, and they require bigger tripods and stuff. This tripod, funny enough, is a silk tripod. I don't know what the actual name is for it, but it's amazing. I've had this since, well, I won't say since, I've had this for 20 years. Isn't that crazy? I bought it 20 years ago. I put this end on, and it's incredible. It's super strong. There's not a single bit of plastic on it anywhere. A little bit of rubber in the middle, a little bit of rubber down here, but otherwise the whole thing is metal. Really sturdy, quite heavy, but it's lasted 20 years. It's the only real tripod that I have ever really used or had. I have a few tiny ones, which are obviously different than this one. This one extends really well too. I think it becomes about 9 feet tall. I have a few more things to do for the gardening, and then I'm going to get into this. There's a lot of stuff already on Patreon and coming on Patreon and planned for Patreon, so that's definitely happening. Yeah, and I just want to say thank you for watching from the bottom of my heart. I really mean that. It's really wonderful to be part of this community, and I will see you guys in the next post. Toodaloo!